YouTube. So with the weather being warm this week, spring is officially here, so I've been a busy little bee getting everything ready. I've got my seeds started, catching up on painting projects that have been waiting for the winter to blow over. So I just want to show you around a little bit and show you what I've been up to. Here is my main workspace, and as you can see, it's a bit of a disaster zone because I've been painting so much for the last couple of days. And so we'll start in here because this is also where the seeds are that I started the other day, this weekend actually. So over here was a quick painting project. It is an old magazine shelf that I added a top to convert into a nightstand. I was originally going to paint it yellow, about that color yellow, but I ran out of my spray paint and did not have time to run to the store, so blue it is. And then over here is my crafting desk. I got this at Salvation Army, and I had a bit of trouble getting it home because I only have a little car. But a couple of nice older people helped me out getting it home so that it can be what it is about to be. It's going to be very pretty when it's done. I still have to put the top coat, but you can see it's a very light shade of gray. And the original wood desk, which I have a before photo, and after it's completely done I need to do an after photo. But the original desk was about that color of wood, but it had this chevron design that went straight down the drawers. So with the drawers that I've painted, I've mimicked that line by basically painting racing stripes. And there's the chair that I just spray painted. And I had done a blue stripe down the drawers, but I decided to paint them red to match the chair, which is why this is still sitting in here drying instead of being done. Because I've gone back and changed the drawers, I still need to go over them again and clean up the stripe. And here are the drawer pulls, the hardware. These are brass, as you can see. They're old brass handles, and they were in ghastly shape, all brown and spotted and nasty. So I painted them. The color is actually called satin oil rubbed bronze, but they look black to me, or at least black enough. But the metallic bronze color kind of gives them a metal look, so you know they're metal. And then past the drawers and the beautiful chair, which I still have to reupholster the seat to, are some onions. Now this was an idea, spur of the moment. We had a bag of sweet onions that sat around too long and started to sprout. So instead of throwing them away, I decided, well, why not pop them in a pot and see what they do? And I think they're doing well. Onions, I think if you plant them in bulbs, they just get bigger. So when these die down and are ready to harvest, I'll get those 4 onions back that, you know, otherwise would have gone into the trash or the compost pile. These here are a little mini experiment that I'm doing. These are really not strong plastic containers I picked up at the dollar store. They were $1 a piece. So I filled them with soil and put some seeds in them. I'm going to see how that turns out. If they can withstand growing the plants for a year, then this would be a pretty good investment for anyone with very limited space who's getting into container gardening. In this one, I planted kale, and I planted 2 rows, so we'll see how that goes. And in this one, I planted baby carrots. And again, 2 rows, and they'll thin out. So we'll see how those handle things. See if that's a worthwhile investment. Then over here, in the what we affectionately call the sunroom, I've got more containers. This one holds mustard. I did 5 of those, so we'll see how that turns out. And this is another dollar store find. This is a stronger, sturdier bucket than the other 2. Let's see there. It's less flexible. But again, $1. It was with the cleaning supplies. It's considered a cleaning bucket. So I've got half-size carrots in that one. Since it's so deep, I want to take advantage of that. And I planted them in a ring and then one in the middle. So not a whole lot can fit into these unless you crowd them. So I'm going to see how the sprouts do, and thinning wise, I may have room to put a little bit more, but obviously not high yield. If you're looking to preserve food or get into canning, this is probably not the route to go. Or you compound what you do here with fresh local produce at the farmers markets when they open in the summer, and that'll give you enough to can. But just using these little container gardens would be enough to feed yourself or to cook dinner. And, you know, if you had a lot more going than just those, definitely have enough yield for growing your own produce. And in here, this is a new thing this year. It is a greenhouse that's made out of metal with plastic, I guess you call those crossbars. And then it's got this plastic vinyl cover over it to kind of keep the plants warm. There's also a black cover if you were needing to black it out, or I guess for root storage or something. So multi-purpose there. And in here are my patio blueberries that I ordered off Gurney's. I found one of their ads in the sale paper. I think they were buy 2 for $7.99 a piece. So obviously, with them being as small as they are, not going to get any blueberries this year, but maybe next year. And then down here is a set I bought from Home Depot. It's an herb set. Notice these aren't marked. That's because I've grown herbs long enough to know when they come up what they're going to be. But if you're a beginner at this, you definitely want to label everything you do. That's just going to help ease stress and stuff when they start coming up. Because when the sprouts come up, in the instance if these were transplants, when the sprouts come up, you don't know what they are. So if you were going to take these and then put them into your garden, you've got your garden all planned out, but you don't have your plants labeled, you don't know what you're putting where. So for these will stay, well, they'll go outside in the summer, but these will pretty much stay indoors on this little stand that comes with the kit. And you've got parsley, oregano, cilantro, chives, and I think basil. Yep, basil. That's it. The one herb you can find absolutely everywhere during seed time. So these are my seed pods. I got 2 72 starters. So, and that, I originally just got 1, but I'm doing parsnips, and parsnips have like 100 days to harvest. So I wanted to get all those started, and they took up a lot of room, even though they'll need thinning out and everything. But I'm planning on planting a lot, so they took out a lot of room. But as you can see, following my own advice, I've already made up markers so I know what I've planted for when the sprouts come up. And as you can see, we've got pak choy, arugula, Swiss chard, endive, which is a type of lettuce. Can't really see that, but that's green lettuce. Spaghetti squash. My spaghetti squash I tried last year didn't come up, so we're doing that one again. Italian red leaf lettuce. It's actually green with like red tips, but I wanted to do a salad mix. So 2 different types of lettuce and 3 whole rows of parsnip seed. And my fiance made a big deal because he thinks root vegetables should just go straight into the soil. And most experts agree with him, but like I said, they've got 100 days, and everything else is around 40 to 60. So I wanted to go ahead and get those started. And then down here, just lost the, there we go. Down here is the first starter set that I got. And we've got peas, sugar peas, more parsnips, a whole section of parsnips, broccoli rabe, and then spinach. Broccoli rabe, if you guys don't know, it's also called rapini, and it is a fantastic, almost mustard tasting green. And the reason it's called broccoli rabe is I'm not sure if it's actually in the broccoli family, but it has little florets in the green leaves that look like broccoli. So that's where it got its name from. And that's got a bit of moisture. I don't know if you can see that, but not nearly as much as this one. So I think I need to water that one. But anyway, that's what we've got started. And as you can kind of see, it's kind of rainy and nasty outside today. But hopefully these seeds will get going in 4 weeks or so. We'll be able to put them outside. We should be well clear of the frost danger by then. So we're going to wait and put them out when they get to strong little seedlings. We're also going to direct sow turnips and radishes, and direct sow some peas as well. We've got them started in the seeds, but we're also going to direct sow some as well, so that we have a staggered harvest. So like I was saying, we're going to have a staggered harvest of peas. We're also going to do a second run of lettuce in the summer and let that bolt so that we already have it sowed for fall, basically self-growing, so we can save on some money on the seeds there. And I just want to show you guys real quick, like kind of how I mapped out my spring garden. I haven't mapped out my summer garden yet, but I did get seeds. So we're going to do a whole bunch of tomatoes because I plan to can tomato sauce this year. We've fallen in love with the crushed tomatoes you can buy at the store. So I thought, well, you know, if we can grow enough tomatoes, we could do that ourselves. So our summer garden is going to have a whole bunch of sweet peppers, some jalapenos, tomatoes, beans, all that good stuff. Also, Swiss chard will probably be spring and summer crop, and maybe even fall. So, but I just want to show you guys what I mapped out for my spring garden, because that's as far as I've gotten so far. Okay, so this is the spring garden map, kind of laid out by the instructions on the back of the seed packets, how things are supposed to be planted. We've reduced some space between them because while the spacing they give you on the seed packets is optimal, I've seen people cram a lot more into a lot less space, but I don't want to overcrowd my plants, so I've still left a lot of room. And down here is kind of my list of what's going in. I checked off everything as I got seeds for it. So as you can see, lots of salad stuff. We like our salads. That's the row vegetables, which go in this space here. Also leaving space for the turnips and radishes. Over here is where the squash is going to go. Squash is a climber. I've seen people do vertical squash, but it was meant to grow on the ground, so I would rather let it grow on the ground. Now, the spaghetti squash I planted last year, I planted 5 in a circular space that was probably maybe 36 inches, and 3 out of the 5 grew, and they vined out a lot, but not like crazy. So I've blocked off 4, and I would expect the way I'm doing it this year for all 4 to survive. But as you can see, there's 18 inches apart from each of them. And then I've left an 18-inch block between the squash and where I plan to do my rows. And then up on the back side is where we plan to do our peas. The top one will be a line of peas, and the second line is sugar peas. And a foot between them, and we're going to stake and trellis it because peas are climbers. And then on the back side, we'll have about 2 feet, which is plenty of room for a row of parsnips. And as you can see, my dimensions are 15 feet by 11 feet, which is a little bit bigger than the box garden I had last year, except this isn't a box garden, this is actually flat land. That's already been tilled out and fenced. It was actually here when we moved here, so it was like, yay, somebody's done the work for me. But 15 feet of parsnips is a lot of parsnips, believe it or not. And the same with the peas. We will definitely have enough peas to preserve. I will not have to go to the farmer's market and buy peas if I decide to can. That is taken care of. But the greens and things, which most greens can only be dehydrated or frozen to save them, so that's why we're kind of going small on those. So we have enough to feed ourselves and probably not have to buy another salad pack at the grocery store until winter. But obviously not much I can do to preserve those, unless somebody knows something I don't. And if so, please tell me, and I will certainly plant more. But anyway, that's where we are on the Clueless Gardener 2013. Making good headway, good planning, got the seeds and the starter kits. Probably in the next 2 weeks, we'll go out into the garden plot and till and spread compost and all that good stuff. Yes, I did compost. I'm not entirely sure I did it correctly. I had a bin out in the garage, which is unheated, where I put all my vegetable scraps throughout the winter. No meat, absolutely no meat, but bread and chips and vegetables and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna do that in the next 2 weeks, and I'll probably set up the camera so you can watch us like totally be a mess trying to do that. And then as soon as the seedlings are strong enough, we'll transplant them in the garden, except for the things I'm doing in containers, you know, doing my experiment there with the containers. And hopefully in 6 to 8 weeks, probably more, probably towards the end of May, we might get our first harvest. And that's always the most exciting part, is after you put in all this work and all this effort, pulling those first leaves or beans or tomatoes or whatever it is you're gardening, pulling those out, washing them off, and eating them either raw or cooked. That's what makes it all worth it. So next time, see ya.